Hello, and welcome to Meows Dinkum Survivor Guide. First, a short disclaimer. Dinkum is still an early access game, so the information in this video may change or become outdated. Now, be prepared for some info dumps. I tried to make it short, though it's kind of tough to do that. Now, let's talk about your town. When you first start the game, and you land on your island, you're asked to place a tent. This tent will be the old lady's tent, known as Fletch currently, and this will also be the center of your town. You can build anywhere you want, so open up your map, take your time to explore. Time should be a bit slow or even paused during this time, so you should be free to build wherever you want and look around. And don't worry if you decide to change locations later. You can actually talk to Fletch and move any town building that you want. Just be careful anyway though, because it does cost money and it get expensive if you don't have a lot of things. I would suggest building your town near a river for that free croc meat. You can terraform the land later if you need to once you've unlocked the shovel from John. First building you should build after the base tent and your tent, and of course the visitor's tent zone, is the bulletin board. This will be important later, and I suggest building it as soon as possible, even before building John's shop. Now, to grow the town, you need to befriend NPCs. This is simple. You just need to do tasks for them when they visit and get enough of their items bought too. Don't worry if they leave. You most likely won't get them to move in on their first visit, but the heart levels do not fade. NPCs require a certain heart level as well as items bought. Some may need you to buy 7 items, some may need you to buy less or even more. The one thing they all require though is your town level to be up. This invisible level just means how much you have decorated your town. This can be as simple as putting down paved roads early game and maybe taking plants found in the wild and relocate them to your town. These are 2 things I suggest early game and are very easy to do. Paved roads are easy to make, depending on which tier you have. In plants, all you have to do is break them wherever you find them, and then just move them to your town. You don't need a shovel or anything for them. As you do tasks for NPCs, you may even get recipes to help further this level. Once they do move into your town, you just need to talk to Fletch and ask about the town needs. Pick a spot, get the material, and I suggest paying off the debt as soon as possible, before trying to get others to move in at least. I'm not sure, but some may not move in if you're currently in debt. I could be wrong though. Don't worry about the high price of debt, as current residents will help you pay it off slowly too. The money tips part of the video will also help. Talking of which, there are many ways to make money in Dinkum. Some of the later ones will require you buying tools from certain NPCs, but it'll be well worth it. Examples of this are farming and upgraded power tools compared to that little tin or copper pickaxe you have. If you see Franklin, I highly suggest you convince him to move in as soon as possible. Turning in discs to him is not only a good way to make money, but it unlocks new tools as well as vehicles that save time. Remember, the bulletin board I told you to build early, that can help you earn money and points as well. I think it can also help you raise heart levels too. Now, I couldn't record this part, but during some of your time out mining rocks, chopping trees, or digging for treasure, you may run into these big items. One's a fossil from rocks, beehive from trees, and the others are large giant, what may be mistaken as a ball of gold from digging. You take these to John and you put them on a scale inside a shop. The money earned is a lot, but determined by the weight of the item. You can also break the beehive, open it for bees, but I don't know if this has any purpose. Maybe we can have a honey farm one day. Anyway, I'll show you a bit about mining and ways to make early money now. Okay, So I was hoping to catch it on a video and find it on the surface, but I wasn't able to. Thankfully, I was smart enough to take a screenshot during one of my streams at some point. Anyway, you start off with tin, which is on the left, where my character is facing, in copper, which is on the far right, being a brown, orangish ore, in quartz. Quartz is pretty much clear, white. Now, in the center of me, that's iron ore. Iron ore is going to be very hard to find. It's very rare. You won't officially find it on the surface until after you have leveled up your mining enough to unlock deep mining. Once you get deep mining, you'll be able to find iron ore a lot more. And then once you've done that, you can find it on the surface as these little rocks. You'll know it's iron ore because it'll sparkle. Copper and iron ore are the only two have that little sparkle. I know you can't really see it in the screenshot, but they're like those little firefly dots that you see coming off. There is one other way to find iron ore. Once you've gotten to like copper tier weapons and tools, you can find these large rocks. There'll be these large gray rocks out on the surface, and you might get a few iron ore from those until you unlock the deep mines. Okay, so another quick tip, something you probably may not know or you will find out later on. All you need is a shovel to do it. And it can be considered a way of making money too. But when you chop down a tree, make sure to replant it. When you chop a tree, you'll usually get some type of seeds or something. When you get the seeds, dig a hole anywhere, it doesn't matter. You can even do this for your town. Drop the seeds in there. I'm using a controller, so it's left joystick pressing for me. For you, I think it's Q if you're on keyboard. That's all you have to do. You can do it to any fruit plants as well. Just make sure you harvest them, though. Harvest. You don't have to chop it down. You can if you want to. Dig hole. Find the fruit. Put it in the hole. Above dirt. And you have yourself a little fruit farm or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Alright, so one of the ways you can make money is fishing. A lot of people seem to complain about it being too hard, but it really isn't that hard. You can do it with a basic rod or a copper rod. I mean, having a better rod will help you, but you pretty much need to find the fish, which can be found in the ocean, rivers, anywhere. And if you have a boat, it can help you a lot too. Sometimes you can be drawn to the boat. Cast your line out. Get near them. Don't touch anything. Wait for the bobber to go all the way down and make a plop sound. And then, if you're not like me, you might just snag it. Wait again. And just tap it when he bites. And then you just keep tapping. Don't hold the button until he stops fighting. See that bar? You don't want that bar to break. That's your fishing pole. Starts fighting, tap, tap, tap. Then hold when he's done. Garfish. Fishing is that simple. It's not too hard. You can make a lot of money early game by fishing. And if you level it up, you can even go diving. And get some deep water fish and some treasures. Supposedly, if you go further out, You can also catch even bigger fish. But be careful of these little guys down there that you see them floating. That's a jellyfish. They will hurt you. There's also sharks too, and they can be a hassle to deal with. Hunting. With hunting comes fighting. And one of the things you should know is that not all foods are equal. For instance, apple will give you only health. It's really good for health. Easy to find too. These are all kinds of different fruit that you can use. I prefer meat. Now, there are different tiers of weapons, of course. We have, for instance, basic spear, copper, iron, and there's a different variety types of weapons too. You start off basically with your good old-fashioned hammers, your bats, all basic of course, and your spears. Later on, there will be ranged weapons too. I haven't reached that point myself, but I have seen the recipes for them due to meeting other random NPCs. Meeting a random NPC in like the wild or something. I prefer spears. I don't know why I just do. But tactics. One of the things I love to do is fighting by jumping around and avoiding the monsters. You can get a lot of good drops from crocodiles and other monsters. And the higher level your license is for hunting, the better, more useful, like better drops you can get from them. There's two there. I don't know if I can fight both of them at once. Let's try to lure them away from each other. You never want to fight them in water either. Never try fighting in the water. And you want to get them around in the plane. Because if you don't, you'll end up hitting grass instead, which can be really annoying. Let's poke him. Poke, poke, jump, poke, hit and run. You want to do hit and run tactics for fighting. Jump on his head. That works too. Now, if you're messing with an alpha, this won't necessarily work. For an alpha, you're gonna have to go for science only. Science and sometimes from behind. If you ever fought an alpha, you'll know why. Now, of course, this works for pretty much any animal. Any animal you run into, you can just avoid, poke, poke, oops, jump. Jumping kind of like helps cancels the animation. Oops, I ran right into one. Start off with like 2 taps, so don't go for like 3. Even doing just 2 can sometimes be a little greedy. Certain times, at night, especially nighttime, you can actually use your torch to just flash the monsters. And it'll blind them, giving you a chance to stun them and poke them. When you get these drops, sometimes you get bones, sometimes you get croco meat. Croco meat, you can cook. Cook the croco meat, sell the croco meat, equal profit. This can be really good money early game as well. You can fight anything with just the basics. A basic weapon will do you just fine too. You may want to make more than just one, but it'll work. I wanted to show you a little bit more fighting besides just fighting the croc. Another thing you can do for certain alpha versions of a monster. But before I do, remember how I said not all food is the same, not all food is equal? Well, here's a prime example. This is the cooked croc meat we got earlier. Watch what happens to my health. It just got bigger. Certain foods will actually give you a bit of a buff. Now, time for fighting. You may get a quest telling you to fight an alpha bush demon, which will be a bigger version of what you saw over here. If you're lucky, they'll be on a cliff. If not, lure them to one. I wish I could have shown you fighting an actual alpha, but unfortunately I couldn't. But one of the things you can do, a lot of times it'll be like trying to bite you from above. And you can just jump over the cliff and keep whacking them. I don't think I can do it with these little ones though. But the same jumping tactics that I showed you before should still work to fight even the little ones. They're a bit slower, but they spit fire. That's what you have to worry about, is when they make you run out of room because they've spun out fire all over the place. You can also use them, as you saw right there, to hit each other. And they'll actually hurt each other as well. So that's one other thing you can do as well. And again, they'll give you drops. You can take those drops, sell them to John, get more money, more stuff. Hunting, or specifically traps. So another really good way to make money, and how I made a lot of my money early game, was setting traps. You want a drop-off collection, and you'll start off with like basic traps. A lot of times I will just leave them out in the open, even if I'm not using them. And sometimes I will just passively catch animals. Either it's a kangaroo, a bird, it doesn't matter. Now, you need license for it. You need the first license. You just fly here, talk to her, get the first license, and then you go over here and you can craft it. Mangrove, you can find on your map on the shoreline. Just look around for it and you'll find them, usually around shorelines. Old Spring, you dig up either using a metal detector or breaking barrels. Animal collection, you need palm. You get from palm trees, of course. Hardwood, you get from those dark brown trees that you run into, or those big fat trees. Nails are from tin, of course. Now I'm going to show you an idea of where to find mangrove. Right here, seeing mangroves. They'll be around the shoreline, and they look like stumps coming out of the swamp. Anyway, though, another thing you can do, since you can put them anywhere, you could put one like right here if you wanted to, or anywhere on the map. And then, let's do this real quick. Put you there. This is how I made a lot of my money. I would lure crocodiles because they cost a lot of money. They're worth a lot of money. Different animals have different levels of value. I think certain birds can fetch you a good amount of money. But crocs are my favorite. And they come out a lot. Like, you can find them a lot of times in the rivers. And especially after it's rained. But you can keep doing this over and over again. And like I said, that's a lot of money. You will find the next day after you've slept, you'll get a letter. You get a letter from the Animal Collection Agency. They'll give you money, the reward for it, and your trap back. So you can make a lot of traps. And then just like, if you don't plan to use them, just set them up here, next to your collection. Any pattern you want, doesn't matter. And when you wake up, who knows, you may have found something. Another thing you can do, if it's dark, take a torch, blind them, and then put the trap there and just pick them up and drop them in. You can make trapping a lot easier too. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you found it somewhat useful. Don't forget you can check me out on Twitch. Meow out.